Hello and welcome to On the Movie Front. I'm Mikey Shee.
And I'm Robbie E. This is our movie review site where we're going to review movies from the theater and DVD.
We're just two regular guys, no experience, just love talking about movies. So that's what we're here to do. So you might have noticed this wonderful piece of artwork behind us. This is our movie rating system.
As you can see, most movie critics, they review their movies up to 4 stars. That wasn't good enough for us. Even some rate it to 10. This doesn't only go to 10, but it goes one more to 11.
Why? Because it's one better than 10.
That means our reviews count one more than the rest.
Absolutely. So on tap for today, we have Iron Man as our movie release, and Lars and the Real Girl as our DVD release.
Let's get to it.
Iron Man, the first blockbuster of the 2008 summer season, starring Robert Downey Jr., Gwyneth Paltrow, directed by Jon Favreau. Story about a man who, his name is Tony Stark. He is a weapons manufacturer. He goes to Afghanistan and gets captured and forced to build one of his weapons that he produces in his company. But instead, he builds a gigantic iron suit and escapes from the danger. I thought Robert Downey Jr. was very good in this movie. I did not expect him to be so charismatic and carry the movie as well as he really did. I also thought he had a lot to live up to, being a fairly well-known comic book character. And also, in the comic book, the character's a lot younger than he is. I think the character in the comic book is like 20, 25. And Robert Downey Jr. is probably close to 50, 49, 50. He might even be over 50. So he really had a lot to live up to in the movie. I thought Jon Favreau did an excellent job directing. He really knows how to tell the story. I think it's great that he put himself in his own movie. He's absolutely hysterical. And also a very good actor to boot. There was a couple things that I guess I didn't love about the movie. First of all, there was a lot of editing situations. Tony Stark builds a heart in like 15 seconds in the film, which is completely unrealistic. I mean, I know it's a comic book story, and I know it's all these special effects, but they just don't explain it. And Jon Favreau just disappears. All of a sudden, he's Tony Stark's the bodyguard for 90% of the movie, and then, what happened to him? I don't know. No one really seems to care. But that aside, I give this movie an 8.
Very good. I agree with you. I like this movie a lot. Robert Downey, he owned the movie. He was the heart of the movie. I think you really failed to mention Gwyneth Paltrow to an extent, because I thought she was excellent in her role, complimenting Robert Downey's Tony Stark. And as for Jon Favreau, going away in the movie, he wasn't a big character. He was just a cameo. A lot of directors do this, and he was just a bodyguard. I'm sure Iron Man doesn't need a bodyguard after he builds the suit. And, he said 90% of the movie? He wasn't in 90% of the movie.
He was in like 75%, something like that.
75% of the first 15 minutes, maybe. And then, what else did you say? Building a heart in 30 seconds. This is a comic book movie. If you could build a fake heart to begin with, don't worry about how fast you could build it in. All in all, I liked it a lot. One of my favorite summer blockbusters ever, I would have to say. That's why I'm giving it a 9.
So we're going to average those two scores out, which gives it an 8.5.
Mike, I never read comic books when I was younger. I never watched the cartoons. And even though I never did that, I still knew of the big popular comic book superheroes like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men. Iron Man didn't really belong in that group that everyone knew. And that is the main reason why I was surprised that so many people went out that weekend to see this movie and to gross over $100 million.
I understand what you're saying, but he falls into the same category as Batman, and people love Batman. He's a regular guy, doesn't have extraordinary powers. He just builds something that he can become extraordinary, and just like Batman, makes this suit and has these tools that he uses that makes him extraordinary, makes him better. But he's just a regular guy with faults, just like Tony Stark's character. He likes alcohol and he likes women. I mean, those are things most men have. So I think that's what most people are related to, and that's why they liked this comic book character and went out to see the movie.
Agreed. Okay, so recapping, we gave this movie an 8.5.
So now we're going to move on to our DVD review, Lars and the Real Girl.
Lars and the Real Girl. Ryan Gosling plays the title character in this offbeat dramedy. He's very sensitive to human touch, physically and emotionally. So when his sister-in-law and brother tries to make him socialize with the community more, he feels very awkward. To cope with his awkwardness, he buys a sex doll whom he passes as his girlfriend. Now you can imagine this opens the door to many hilarious situations throughout the movie. But the great thing about Lars and the Real Girl is that it never loses its tone. And that's what I feel is the absolute strength of this movie. The screenplay, written by Nancy Oliver, which is her first screenplay. You might know her for several episodes of 6 Feet Under. But she created this wonderful community and this unique story that was very moving, and she never strays from the purpose that she wants to achieve. I can't end this critique without mentioning how great Ryan Gosling was. He was phenomenal in this film. I thought he deserved an Oscar nod, yet he didn't receive it. And I was a little bit worried at first because from his past roles, he didn't really show a variety of comedy. But I can now say that he is a great comedic actor. He had great timing, and I would even say, to a lesser degree, Ryan Gosling's Lars would be close to Tom Hanks' Forrest Gump, and I love Forrest Gump. Both characters were lovable, they were awkward, naive, and they were just both fantastic. For Lars and the Real Girl, my rating would be 8.
So I definitely agree with what you said. Ryan Gosling really had a great performance, which I was really surprised about. I just, I liked him in The Notebook, but I just didn't know, that's one character. Who knows how good he's actually going to be, what he can come up with. And I just felt like he really developed a character in this movie, which I think is a tribute to him, the director, and the screenwriter. I thought the screenplay was very good. I would also like to give a nod to Paul Schneider, who plays the brother in the film. He just really complimented Ryan Gosling as Lars, and just, it was just a very, very good role. It was written well, and it was acted well, which I think was a huge compliment to the film in general. And I really enjoyed it. So I would give this movie an 8 as well.
So that means our On the Movie Front rating would be an 8.
Yeah. A solid 8.
Very solid 8. I just want to ask you one thing. Did you really laugh that much during this movie? Because I think it was marketed as a comedy, and with the premise and all, it is a quite silly premise. I thought it was, going into it, I thought it was going to be a lot funnier, but once it started, I sensed its serious tone, so I was just like, it's probably not going to be that funny. Did you laugh a lot during this movie?
I think I only laughed twice during the movie. It wasn't that funny. I mean, Ryan Gosling was entertaining to watch. He was comedic,
right?
But it wasn't hysterical, laugh out loud funny.
Right.
More kind of inward at yourself and the situations that he's finding himself in. So tune in next time when we're going to be reviewing Forgetting Sarah Marshall and
Enchanted.
All right, thank you very much. So, what do we do now?
I think we just sit here. The credits should be rolling, right?
Yeah, this is when we would have the credits, I think.
Yeah.
They just kind of roll, right? I mean...
Yeah, they'll be rolling.
Wait, you know how, I watch the news sometimes and, the anchors kind of just, smile and, talk to each other?
Oh, yeah, while the credits are rolling.
Yeah. But there's no sound, so, we just talk, we smile and talk.
Well, there's music playing.
So we should just smile and talk, though, right?
I guess. Okay. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like this. This is good.
Yeah, I think this is good.
This is because they talk too, right? When the credits are rolling.
What do you think they talk about?
I don't know. I never heard them.